Okay, welcome. You join me, David Whitelaw, for another Aether Revolt Kaladesh draft. Fingers crossed we have a bit more success this time round. I think we made some pretty obvious errors last time round. Hopefully we'll learn from them, speed of play being a big one. So I'll try and draft a little bit faster, play a little bit faster, talk a little bit less while still trying to impart enough information for all you guys. Hopefully this queue won't stick around forever. Hopefully it'll fill fairly quickly so that I don't have to sit and talk for too long. I know that not a heap of people watched my last set of videos. I wasn't expecting that, but hopefully you guys in Wick, maybe the guys in Inverness, will see this and pick up something. I might have to restart this if this is going to hang on 2 players for ages, though, unfortunately. We'll see. Can you expect queues to fire fairly quickly? That might not be the case here, though. I was so frustrated when I watched the video back of that first draft, what happened in round 2, because I didn't even pick up on it at the time. I thought the mistake I'd made was just simply timing out. But I forgot that in round 2, in that sort of final combat sequence, my opponent just attacked with everything, tried to pressure me because I was short on time. I hadn't clicked on to the fact that my opponent had no energy left. He had 2 shipwreck Mories that he was attacking with, but he had no way of converting those from 0-5s to 3-3s, so they were effectively not relevant to combat. And if I'd taken those 2 into account, if I'd had enough time and taken those 2 into account, I could have made the blocks to win on the swing back. And I guess my opponent had realised that and was just trying to pressure me on time, which he successfully did. So well done to that man, and not so well done to me for being a bad. So queue's going up now, hopefully. This queue will fire fairly quickly now, and we'll see where we end up. I think you try not to go into draft with any sort of preconceptions or thoughts about what you want, colours you want to go into. I definitely think there's a lot of merit in this block to staying open, so if you see a good artifact, then take it. Things like Renegade Freighter and Untethered Express, which is obviously just an absolute bomb. I do like being in green if I'm forced to be in a particular colour. Green seems very strong in this set, so it would be lovely if we open something like Ridgedale Tusker. That would be great. Heart of Kieran would obviously be lovely. A good solid vehicle, a Planeswalker, something like Tusker or Untethered Express would be excellent. And even further down the chain, looking at something like, I wouldn't be too disappointed with something like a Daring Demolition first pick, or something like Hungry Flames is also not. I would be a little bit disappointed if we had to first pick something like Hungry Flames, but it wouldn't be the end of the world either. Something like Fatal Push as well, which has a lot of value. It's worth 2 or 3 tickets at the other end of the line would also be worth consideration. And as I've mentioned in previous draft, I do have to think about value when I'm doing this as well. The idea is to try and draft as cheaply as possible. And given that we seem to be unable to get any boosters out of these drafts so far, picking value from packs is a serious consideration. We're not expecting to go infinite necessarily, but we are expecting to try and minimise the cost of taking part in these drafts. So always something to bear in the back of your mind. We seem to have stalled on 5 while I just talk nonsense, so hopefully this will fire quickly. I'm always interested in what time of day, how much difference that makes to the quality of drafter you find out there. I wonder if anybody's ever done an article on it. We're up to 6 now, so almost there. Man, this queue's taking a lot longer to fire than I expected it to. Oh, there's 7, so we should be going any second now. 7 or 8, so we should get our 8th person and see what our first pack has opened to us. I wasn't expecting to be quite as long as 5 minutes waiting to get into this queue, but nice little bit of preamble before we get started is probably also not an unreasonable consideration. Go Heart of Kieran. Bosh, let's do it. Come on. Ballista's the other big chase rare from this set that we would like to open in terms of value. That basically makes the draft free there and then. It would cover the cost of the draft, which would be lovely. Man, 6 minutes for a draft to fire. I really am drafting at the wrong time of day. I mean, I'm guessing US time zone is the wrong time. Okay, let's see what we end up with here. Okay, we've got Yeheni, which is obviously a serious consideration. Very strong card. See if I can make these just a little bit bigger. Very powerful card. Shock's obviously a consideration. It's not a great pack, to be honest. Shielded Aether's Thief is certainly worth consideration. Skyship Plunderers, reasonable. Shock's obviously very good. I think the pick is probably between Shock and Yeheni. And I think Yeheni's probably just more powerful. And I certainly don't. I'm not offended by being black at all. Lifecraft Cavalry is also not, is also a pretty good shout, and it's in green. It's the only green card in the pack, so worth considering from that perspective. But I do think Yeheni is significantly more powerful, and therefore worth the pick here. Okay, and we've been kind of rewarded here because we've got a very powerful uncommon in Vengeful Rebel. We've also got Daring Demolition. Dawnfeather Eagle, also excellent, but I don't think it's worth going into a second colour when we have two fantastic picks. Winking Rangers are also brilliant. Restoration Angel, also not an unreasonable shout. So, this is a very, very good pack. Very solid. I think if we were looking at what we might wield here, maybe something like an Unbridled Growth. You've got Scrounging Bandar, which is brilliant. Unbridled Growth, Dawnfeather Eagle, Daring Demolition, Winking Raiders, Vengeful Rebel, all excellent. I'm going to take the Rebel here because I think it's the strongest card, but I mean, I could see a shout for Daring Demolition as well. Perhaps Daring Demolition is just I think I'm going to take Vengeful Rebel. I think it's having removal on a stick is better here, so we'll go for that. Wow, okay. Is Yeheni is an Aetherborn, so perhaps Midnight Entourage. Are we just going to go for the Aetherborn pre-constructed deck here? Let's see what else we'd be losing. I mean, Chandra's Evolution is fantastic, so I think it's probably the pick here. I don't think Midnight Entourage is an unreasonable shout, but maybe it is just the pick here. Maybe we stay the course. I mean, Chandra's Evolution is fantastic. Dealing 4 damage to a creature and tapping a land can be huge. Normally, I mean, in a straight pick between these two, I mean, Chandra's Revolution is the better card, but I just wonder, is Vengeful Rebel Aetherborn as well? I didn't actually check that. Oh wow, it is as well. Wow. Okay, I mean, I think I'm going to take the Midnight Entourage. All our cards so far are Aetherborn, so perhaps we just try and stay the course and leave ourselves open. And I think that was probably worth it because it looks like white might be open. That's a fairly late Dawnfeather Eagle. Aether Swipper's fairly late. Spire Patrol and Rogue Refiner are both excellent, but I think we're pretty set up in black. I mean, we could take something like Rogue Refiner, knowing that we're going potentially green. That seems a little bit janky. I think Dawnfeather Eagle is excellent, and I'm not offended by being black-white at all. So I think I'm going to go for Dawnfeather Eagle here. It's a very good card. It's probably the best card in the pack here. So I think I'm going to... Well, Spire Patrol and Rogue Refiner are both probably better, to be honest. But I don't think we want to go into those colours yet. I think I'd rather just go Dawnfeather Eagle and see what happens. Okay. Spire of Industry is worth a fair few tickets. I think it's worth like 4 tickets or something. So isn't an unreasonable consideration here. Let's double check that. That's 2.5 tickets. Okay. Decommissioned's probably the correct pick. Tezzeret's Touch is also not offending me. There's nothing really else here. I think I might take the Spire, you know. It's a guaranteed 2.5 tickets, and I don't feel like we're losing out on an awful lot here by taking it. So I'm going to take it. It's the value pick here. Okay. This pack is not so good for us. We did see that Tezzeret's Touch. I think maybe we want to be blue. We want to leave ourselves open. We're not necessarily white. The Dawnfeather Eagle is excellent, but we're seeing something like Shielded Ether Thief, which is fantastic. We're also seeing Bastion Inventor, which is very good. I think both those cards are substantially better than something like Universal Solvent. Obviously for Watchful Automaton we want to be blue. I think I'm going to take Bastion Inventor here and remain open to the option that we could be black blue or black white. There's nothing Bastion Inventor. Shipwreck Mori. Fenhauler is actually pretty good. I think we can just take the Fenhauler here. And we need to start then considering about, you know, looking at artifacts. So I'm pretty happy with the Fenhauler here. Okay. So the best card here, I would say, is certainly Druid of the Cowl. You know, fairly substantially, actually, to be honest. But I don't think, I mean, we're already 3 colours. I don't think I really want to go into another colour yet. Ice Over is not a card I'm a big fan of, but it's probably the pick here. I don't think I want to go into a green here. Druid, that's a very late Druid of the Cowl. I'm going to take Ice Over. No, I'm going to take Druid of the Cowl and remain open. Let's see where we end up. We are all over the shop here in terms of colours, but I'm okay with that for just now. I think the pick here is probably Resourceful Return. I've been a big fan of this card, and we do need to pick up some artifacts soon if we're going to try and go the blue route. And you know, we've got Fenhauler as well. But I think I'm going to take Resourceful Return here. Okay, so I mean, we could take Bridled on Growth. I mean, it's the best card here, I would say. I'm going to get Bridled Growth and see if we might end up black-green. We have remained fairly open, which is good for us. Augmenting Automaton isn't a card I love, but we do need those artifacts, so I'm going to take that here. 4th Bridge Prowler for the board, potentially. Yeah, I think we've actually, this has worked out pretty well for us. Natural Obsolescence is a card I'm more than happy to have in my deck, so we'll take that. Gaunty's Machination, okay. So I think it looks like green might be our best option. We're still fairly open. We don't have to be green. I mean, I'm fairly certain we're black, but I don't think we have to be green. We're leaving ourselves open here. I don't know what we want to open here. Pyre's Revolution is not a card we want to open, I don't think. Untethered Express. Okay, we got Untethered Express, which is one of the cards we talked about at the start of the draft. It's just an outright ridiculous bomb. So we're going to take that here. Pacification Arrays, fine. Sly Requisitioner is definitely a card that we would want to consider here if we were looking to go the artifact route. But Untethered Express is a bomb in and of itself. You know, if we decide to go if it looks like we're going to improvise, then obviously it's fantastic from that perspective too. So it's a very easy pick here. Okay. Gifted Aetherborn is obviously fantastic. It ties into our Yeheni plan. You know, we did take the Midnight Entourage. If we weren't to take that, Prey-Upon is fantastic, but I think Gifted Aetherborn is the pick here. Still not locked into our second colour yet. Battle at the Bridge. Battle at the Bridge is, you know, Hidden Stockpile is a fantastic card. It's a card I'm a big fan of. Caught in the Brights as well. Maybe we are white. Let's pull these green cards over here. The question is, you know, what we want to potentially lose out of here. We have to make a decision to make here. Battle of the Bridge is excellent, and it's straight out removal. It's fairly flexible removal. I think I'm going to take it and again remain open. I mean, Caught in the Brights I'm a big fan of. We're not necessarily green by any stretch of the imagination. We could potentially splash white if we were green. But I think Battle of the Bridge is just good solid removal, so I'm going to take it. We also have Spire of Industry to allow us to splash, so we're fairly flexible. We could, you know, we could splash, you know, something else. Invigorated Rampage. Well, we're not red. I think we're fairly comfortably not red. We've got the Prey Upon here, which is top solid removal. We do have to keep an eye on our creatures. Yeah, I think we are green. I think we probably are green. I think we probably need to make a decision here, and I think Prey Upon is good enough to put us into green. And it's a foil one as well, which is always good value. Port of Invention we're not super interested in. Yeah, we do need to keep an eye on our creature count. We do need to keep an eye on artifacts. But I think Prey Upon is the pick here. Okay. But then we get past something like Thought to Arrest, which makes me think we should be white. Do you know what? I'm going to take Thought to Arrest here. I'm still debating whether we're white. I think I'm going to take Thought to Arrest. The fact it removes artifacts as well. Let's take the Thought to Arrest and see where we end up. Malphus Revolutionary is very, very good indeed. It works well with something like Untethered Express. Yohani it works with in terms of putting counters on. If we were to wheel something like the green automaton, yeah, we've that. Oh, Ether Poisoner is also excellent, and actually that's probably the better card because it works with our plan more. Yeah, I think we have to make a decision now, and I think we're gonna go for Ether Poisoner, knowing full well that it gives us another. I mean, Implement of Malice and Renegade Map. We're going to take Ether Poisoner here. It's just the best card, I think, for us. Another Fenhauler, or we can go for the combat trick. I think the second Fenhauler is probably the better pick. I think having two Fenhaulers is solid. We do then need to prioritize artifacts, though, of course, but let's go for that. Monstrous Onslaught's a fantastic card. It works very well with our Fenhaulers, something like Untethered Express. I'm very surprised it's here that late, to be honest. So that's going to be our pick here. Yeah, I mean, we wheeled something like Sly Requisitioner, which I'm very surprised at. So we will, whenever a non-token artifact you control is put into the graveyard, okay. Yeah, we're going to go for that here. Obviously, we do need to very seriously consider our artifacts now. We need to prioritize those. So here we will take, I mean, I'm not a big fan of Force Bridge Predator. Let's take the Crackdown Construct, although I'm not sure we would really want to be playing something like that. Aerial Admiral should not be here that late. I'm going to take it here because I don't feel like we're losing out here. I'm going to take it, but obviously we're not going to be playing it now. But Invigorated Rampage is also a card that we're not going to be playing. Defiant Salvager is a card we might play. So we'll take that here. Is it an Aetherborn? It is. Oh, wow, okay, we'll definitely be playing that then. Alley Evasion. There's nobody drafting white at this table. I'm pretty happy with this so far. We did kind of not stick too firmly for long enough. We did kind of, I mean, black was fairly, we were fairly certain we were black early on, but we did kind of fool around for a fair bit after that. But I'm pretty happy with this so far. We definitely need more artifacts. That has to be our priority here. Don't really want to be playing that fourth. Oh, wow, okay. And we opened Sky Sovereign. Wow. That's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. That's fantastic. We will Windmill Slam that and be very, very happy with our lot. That's about as good a pull as we could have got there, really, to be honest. Okay, we have options here. no green cards. We're not considering larger than life, obviously. Decoction module, we don't really have a way to take advantage of energy at the moment, so I'm not really considering that. Prophetic Prism draws us a card, it fixes our mana, and it's another artifact for getting us closer to our improvised guys. So I think that's the pick here. There, you know, Consulate Skygate is also worth consideration, but I don't think we need necessarily the early blocker. I think Prophetic Prism is just better. I mean, Ambitious Aetherborn is something we would like to take here as well, but we do need to prioritize artifacts here. So I'm going to take Prophetic Prism. Okay, Lysis Disintegration. I mean, we could splash for that. We are black. We could splash for it via. We've got Unbridled Growth. We've got Spire of Industry. It's not an unreasonable card to splash. And I think that might be our pick, to be honest. Destroy target creature if you control an artifact deals 3 damage. I mean, that's very solid here. I mean, Kajar's Seed Sculptor is also excellent. It gives that +1/+1 counter, which could be relevant down the line. Do we just stay the course and take the Seed Sculptor? The Seed Sculptor is excellent. We can pretty comfortably splash for Unlicensed Disintegration, and that is a fantastic card as well. I think I'm going to take the Seed Sculptor. Yeah, I'm going to take the Seed Sculptor and stay the course. Cultivator of Blades. Okay, so this is a very good pickup. It gives us Fabricate, which gets us again closer to our Fen Haulers. You know, if we play this turn 5, even if we don't draw land, theoretically we could go turn 5 Cultivator Blades into turn 6 Fen Hauler, even if we didn't draw land. Dund Operative is also fantastic and worth consideration. But I think, do we want the 2-drop here? I think I'm fairly comfortable taking the Cultivator of Blades here. Dund Operative is also excellent, but I'm going to take the foil rare. Because why not? Let's take the foil rare. We have options here. Ornamental Courage is a lovely little trick. I think Pillar Bug is just better. Again, it's an artifact, which we were talking about the fact that we needed it. It's a reasonably efficient creature. Okay. I think Foundry Creature, we do need to, you know, there is a concern for flyers here. We don't have a lot of flying creatures. We should have an artifact, hopefully, fingers crossed. So I think it's the pick. We do need to keep an eye on creatures as well for crewing our vehicles up. So Eager Construct's also worth consideration here. It is an artifact. We have talked about how important it is. We have artifacts. Metal Spinner Puzzle Knot for the same reason. It's between these two, but I am worried about flyers. We do have to take that into account. I think we do need. I don't like Eager Construct normally. I'm going to take the Construct because I think it's so important that we have the artifacts that we need. And we've got Narnum Cobra, which I'm pretty happy to take here. Faircrest Trumpeter, beginning of each game step. I think Narnum Cobra is, you know, it's a 2/1 for 2, which is entirely reasonable. It's another artifact, so I think I'm going to take it here. Architect of the Untamed, which is a very solid card, but we just have no way of getting any. We have no way of getting the energy. Maybe we take Riparian Tiger here and just swap out something like the Sly Requisitioner, which is a card I do like, but isn't really going to be doing much here. I think I'm pretty comfortable with that, actually. Take out the Sly Requisitioner. Okay, we've got nothing here, but that's fine. I think we'll take... I mean, this is Aetherborn, but I don't think we want it anyway. I think we'll take the Express. We may want to board it in. The Ambitious Aetherborn Wheeled. Would we play it? We are awful high in our top end of our curve. But it does have Fabricate, so it gets us up that top end quicker. Yeah, okay. I don't know if we'll play it. Ruinous Gremlin, we'll take that just for the board. Dramatic Reversal, we'll take that for the board. Mind Rot, I don't think we're going to be playing it. But we'll put that there. Another Ruinous Gremlin. Okay. Interesting draft. I think we stayed open. I think it was certainly worth our while staying open for as long as we did. I think that was a good shout. Let's see how we're going to end up here. Do need to make some cuts. And I don't think we can really afford to cut artifacts. I think we need to be quite strict with ourselves about that. Cultivator of Blades, just I was much higher on that when I first seen it. I'm actually not sure if it does much here. I think I'm going to move that to the board. It was perhaps a mispick taking that, to be honest. I'm trying to remember what we took over it. I'll have to watch back the draft. I'm trying to think, maybe we made the wrong pick for that pick. I am a little bit worried that we don't have an awful lot of ways to get Revolt off for Vengeful Rebel, but it's a bit late for that consideration now. Druid of the Cowl. I wonder if we could almost drop down to 16 land plus the Druid. Slightly greedy, but we also have Prophetic Prism to draw a card. It's very greedy when we have such a high top end. But we can draw and we can accelerate. And we do have, we have draw with Unbridled Growth as well. So it is very greedy. We would only have one more cut to make. Perhaps running the 2 Fen Horse is just asking a little bit too much, especially when we have so much power at the top end anyway. Perhaps just cutting one is the correct call. That brings our overall curve down a little bit. It brings down our curve a little bit. It makes it 24 a little bit more viable when we're cutting a 7-drop from our deck. So I think I'm okay with running this with 16 land. We have the Spires. Okay, yeah, I think I'm pretty comfortable with that. You know, we are fairly glutted at the 2-drop spot. We could consider cutting something like Natural Obsolescence, perhaps. Maybe that's just the correct pick. We don't know what our opponents are going to be playing. I do like Natural Obsolescence, but perhaps just doing something like that is better. And we can always board it in. The double greens, the 2 sets of double greens, considering we have so few green cards, the fact that we've got a couple of double greens there is a little bit awkward actually. But especially when one of the greens is fixing. You know, and like Druid of the Cowl as a green card when we don't have much other green, you know. The good thing about Druid of the Cowl is if you only get 1 forest, you know, you can then play Druid of the Cowl and you have access to 2 green mana for these higher up cards. Even if you don't see another actual forest, you can still cast it theoretically, which is good. We didn't end up with a heap of Aetherborn, but we ended up with a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is Aether Poisoner? No. I think we ended up with 6, which is pretty reasonable. So I don't feel too bad about that Midnight Entourage pick. I think this deck's pretty good. Untethered Express, Skyship Sovereign. We've got something like Battle at the Bridge. I feel like this deck's pretty powerful. Let's add some basic land to this. I think we probably, with the Spire of Industry, we probably want to go 9/7 perhaps. Oh, sorry, no, because it's so 8/7. Do we want to do that? See how that looks. Add to deck. That's very greedy for the but I mean, of course, if we get forest into Unbridled Growth, then Unbridled Growth still allows us, you know, 1 forest plus Unbridled Growth plus a swamp still allows us turn 2 Gifted Aetherborn, for example. So yeah, I think I'm going to run it like this. We ended up with, I mean, Aether Poisoner is kind of an artifact, kind of. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We ended up with 8 artifacts. So You know, Battle of the Bridge, Fenhauer, we're in pretty good shape for those sorts of cards. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so join us when we come back shortly for round 1.